Josh Allen.
I love this.
Great.
I love this for Josh Allen and the Bills. All right. And look, if they had gotten A.J. Brown, I would have been like, oh, this is great. However, and he's better than DJ Moore, but there's the chance of him, being a distraction. Let's put it that way. Okay. I don't think you have that with DJ Moore. I know there were some frustrations with him and Caleb, but for the most, I don't think you have that with DJ Moore. If they had gotten Mike Evans, I would have liked that too for Buffalo. However, Mike Evans will be 33 next season, all right, before next season. And so, how much longer does he have? Is he even still a number one, a bona fide number one? So I think DJ Moore is a legit number one. Obviously, we saw the numbers last year. Rome Odunze kind of became their number one guy, got hurt, and even Luther, Burden after that was kind of, the numbers aren't what we expected. But DJ Moore, I think, is a bona fide number one talent. In Carolina, he had 3 1,000-yard receiving years with Teddy Bridgewater, I think Kyle Allen, and Darnold before the resurrection as his quarterbacks, as his main quarterbacks. Cam was hurt one year, in and out and all that. So I think he's a legitimate number one. I'm not saying he's top 5 or anything, but legitimate number one. I think he's a professional. He's locked up through 2029 at like $24 million a year. So you're not going to pay a ton. He has experience with Joe Brady, having been in Carolina. Brady was his offensive coordinator for a couple years. He had big numbers there, even though he didn't have, as I said, great quarterbacks. So I just think this is great for them. And this is because he's not a guy that's going to draw a lot of attention to himself. I just think it's perfect for them.
I think it's solid. I think it's a solid move for the Bills.
Like a B.
Yeah, here's what
You agree he's a legit number one?
So I think he is an average number one. Like that, if we lined up all the number one receivers in the league, I think he's right, around 15th. Like an average number one receiver, which they did not have.
Right.
And so that is, it's not that he's an average receiver. Yeah. He's an average amongst teams' number ones, and they needed it. And your point about his career, it's really odd where his production seems to be inversely correlated to how good his quarterback is.
Interesting.
His best year by far was with Fields. He had 1,300 yards with Justin Fields and his second most productive year, I think, was the Kyle Allen year, a year where
the 18 yards a catch.
And so he seems to be a guy that at least throughout his career, underwhelming quarterbacks, if they're like, man, lock on to him, he will go and be productive. For some reason, Caleb, who was not going to just look at him, whether it was last year or the year before, his production really didn't match. So I don't know what to make of that. And we can talk more about the Bears piece of it.
Well, Caleb last year wasn't elite. And obviously this year he's showing elite tendencies.
No, I know, but my point is Caleb at every moment of his career has been a better passer than Fields, and the guy had 1,300 yards with Fields. So the only reason I'm even bringing that up is I don't know that I can simply say, well, if he had this production with those quarterbacks, this is what he'll have with Josh Allen, because we would have thought going from Justin to Caleb, the production would go up. Instead, it got cut in half, essentially.
The other thing I just want to mention as you go, he did have Joe Brady in Carolina, so this is a reunion, so maybe Joe Brady sees that was underutilized and undervalued in Chicago. Yeah.
And I think, so the reason I said solid is I also think it's possible that he's just past his prime.
Really?
Receivers weird.
He'll be 29.
He'll be 29 this offseason. And so I think receiver's a weird position where it's obviously 29. You can still be at the peak of your powers, but not always. And
I just told you guys that this take was coming because I knew it, because it's very predictable. First off, this is when I love how when you say multiple things at once and it kind of disarms the take that you had earlier. Because Nick now just admitted that the Bills didn't have even an average number one wide receiver. Yet, he said the Bills got everything they need. They got everything. They got a best old line and a top run game and a defense. There's no excuse for that. No Patrick Mahomes, no Lamar Jackson. And now you're saying the guy didn't even have an average #1 wide receiver. Interesting. Kind of weird. So Jew just found that quite interesting. But I mean, listen, I'm not so sure that the Bills are completely done right now with the moves that they're making. And I think the A.J. Brown asking price would be too steep, as well as and Mike Evans. I've talked about that at length. Mike Evans, his age and whatnot, that makes me uncomfortable. Now, in terms of the whole prime and whatnot, you know, this isn't a situation where you're kind of looking at like people were looking at Debo, for instance, and we were all kind of looking at it where we were like, man, this guy is such a versatile wide receiver, you know, all the things that he's asked to do, blah, 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 blah. And you're like kind of concerned of like, well, kind of what makes him great, kind of what makes him special. Like, is he past his prime? Is he getting slower, heavier, et cetera, et cetera? When the reality is that the Bills, you would love a prime A.J. Brown, Tyreek Hill, you know, whatever it may be. You would absolutely love that. The Bills just need someone that they can just depend on. It's like you would love for them to get someone who now you can expect, hey, he's about to get 1,400 yards and 9-10 touchdown, you know, or whatever it may be, like, you know, a Puka, right? If we're looking at just now current primes, Puka, Justin Jefferson, etc. But the reality is that this offense just needs someone that they can just genuinely depend on, that they can genuinely just be like, are you a liability? The Bills last season had liabilities, and that's why I went to such great lengths and highlighted those very liabilities in that playoff game and said, this is what you're asking Josh Allen to do on the most important drive. You're throwing the ball now. Do you want to talk about players past their prime to two receivers that are way beyond their prime, and you're asking one of them to you know, making an awesome catch in the most important throw of the entire season, and it's just like, what are we doing here? Like, what are we doing right now? It makes no logical sense. They just need dependability. That's why I didn't like the Mike Evans trade. You want dependability. It's why, not trade, but, you know, if they were going to sign Mike Evans, which I'm open for now, you know, as long as you get the dependability taken care of there, Rashid Shaheed, like, it's not that he's not dependable, but he is more of your home run hitter more than anything, right? He is definitely more of kind of like a go for broke moment, which is awesome to have, and stretching the field and, you know, all that good stuff. And obviously also the special teams type of impact that you have, which is, you know, clearly just go ask the Seattle Seahawks. That went an incredibly long way, but the Bills just need some dependability. And I'll be honest, I really don't care what DJ Moore did with Caleb Williams or Justin Fields or whatever. I really don't. Do you guys know why you know why? Because it's Josh Allen. That's why. It's because Josh Allen's the best quarterback in the NFL. So I really could care. I barely care what he did last season. Their passing game was inconsistent. Caleb was inconsistent. Make no mistake about it. Make no mistake about it. And so I see the synergy with Josh Allen and DJ Moore pretty quickly. Give Josh Allen someone who's just remotely in their prime and an actual seasoned veteran wide receiver, and they're going to be able to be on the same page. They're going to be able to be on the same page. Again, ideally, you want the Buffalo Bills to get that Puka Naku, right? Then you can really make some magic. This is not about magic. This is not about magic. This is about stability, and it's what the Bills needed. There was no reliability. They had no reliability, and it was a major problem. It was a major problem. That, to me, is what this solves. And you're getting him for a great deal, and for the amount of money that you're spending relative to what these other guys are getting, which is what then makes me kind of think, like, is there room to get another weapon, another piece? That's why I made the joke. Made in my herd clip about, you know, you got a stew going, you know, throw it in a pot, some add some broth, a potato baby. We got a stew going. That's what I'm looking for. I'm optimistic that this is just one move in a series of other moves. That's what I'm looking for. If it's just this, you feel good. Dare I say even feel great. But if there's another move that follows, then it's like we're going Super Bowl hunting right now. We are going ring hunting. Like this is new. This is a new era. We are getting after it. Let's go. Let's go. I think if not, you're banking on, like I said, the stability, the reliability, and then you're just asking the DJ Moores, the Cooks, the Josh Allens of this team to just rise to the occasion in the important moments, right? AKA the playoffs. So, but if you add another piece, you're talking about being like the bona fide, like we got to deal with this team. You don't want to mess. You don't want to deal with the Bills right now. Which is the energy kind of that the Rams got going, right? They got a great defense, and now, you know, they're going to be in a position where they could have 2, 3, 4, 5, like 6 or 7 offensive weapons. Like, it's pretty crazy. And like legitimate, like at any moment can just do some damage. That's, you know, I'm not saying every team is in a position to be able to do that, but it's like how the Eagles were able to do it, the Chiefs were able to do it, like kind of seemingly every other team. And so like this adds more stability. I wish there was like another more recent example of a team that I can use, but I mean, none really comes to my mind because I feel like a pretty much every team, but the Bills have had like an actual home run hitter to be able to work with, whether it's be a Derrick Henry, whether it be an A.J. Brown, Saquon, Barkley, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Jamar Chase. And I'm not putting, Diggs in that category. I'm just not. And so it's kind of interesting that the Bills are the only team really that I can think of. The 49ers have had multiple home run hitters. And the Bills really haven't, so it's, and even if you want to say Diggs, well, then you would be like, well, they never really had the good coaching at the time. They really only had Brady with Diggs, I think, for one season, right? Or a season and I think actually just a half a season, I think, or a season and a half, or just a half a season. I think it was just a half because I think he took over in 2023 and then Diggs was gone in 2024. So I think he just even had him with it for a half a season, if memory serves me correctly. So even that is kind of just like, being able to have some continuity with some great weapons and having the coaching in place. Also, while Josh Allen is not learning how to be a quarterback, and he's in his prime now too, right? So I'm curious what other moves they have. Colin thinks that this is it, and then they go all in on the draft on defense, which is interesting. You'd have to look at their salary cap. You'd have to look at what other magic they can do. But people were talking about all the other pieces out there. Again, Evan, Shahed, Alec. Like I know there's other things there, but it's hard to know what those guys are all looking for from a contract standpoint. And I don't know. I think it's a step forward, and I think at the end of the day, in March, if you can take a step forward, that's a major victory. Doesn't mean you're done, right? It doesn't mean you're done walking now, but if you can take a step forward in March, that's a great thing. That's a great thing. So, and remember, there's still the draft. There's still other free agency. There's still other trades to be made, whether it's in the offseason or during the season, right? Again, the Seahawks getting a Shahed, right? And I always reference the Rams going out and getting OBJ and Von Mill. Like there's always these other acquisitions. The Bills now got Amari Cooper. That obviously didn't work, but so I'm encouraged because I feel like they're getting better today than they were yesterday. And then sometimes that's all you can ask for. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Buffalo Bills? Do you think it's good? Do you think it's great? Do you think it's awesome? Do you think it's spectacular? How do you feel that this will actually impact Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single comment, so you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get either into some discussions. Let's get into some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next.